Welcome to Confidential Naga channel. Today I'll explain the movie Parasite using text-to-speech app.
Ki-charm Kim is a young fellow living in neediness in the ghettos of an anonymous South Korean city with his family, father Ki-taek Kim, mother Chung-sook Kim and sister Ki-young. The family lives in a nursery unit where they battle finding a Wi-Fi sign to slip into to gain admittance to the web, to stare at the television, get disinfected on, and need to watch men peeing in the back street outside their home. They get by doing modest undertakings, for example, collapsing pizza boxes, and, surprisingly, then, at that point, get condemned by the pizza representatives for wrecking the containers. Ki-charm's rich companion Min-hyuk visits the family, giving them a gift, a stone that should bring the individuals who have it abundance and success. He then, at that point, tells Ki-charm that he has been coaching the high school girl of an extremely well-off family. He is passing on to concentrate abroad, however is enamored with the girl, and knows that any of the other college young men would take her away. He needs Ki-charm to be her mentor, realizing he will look after her so Min-hyuk can propose to her once she graduates secondary school. Ki-charm realizes he isn't qualified since he isn't in school, yet Min-hyuk vows to vouch for him, thus he concurs and has Ki-young produce accreditations for him to take to his meeting. Ki-charm interviews at the exceptionally rich Park family where he meets Mr. Park, his thoughtless spouse Mrs. Park, and their kids, teen little girl Da-hye and youthful child Da-toon. Ki-charm acknowledges he really wants to play with Da-hye to land the position, and he does. Mrs. Park pays him an extravagant measure of cash and notices they need a craftsmanship coach for Da-melody. Da-toon had a horrible episode where he saw a phantom in the house and had a seizure and has been requiring assist with his specialty. Ki-charm acquaints them with Ki-young, who manufactures reports for her and goes by Jessica, and she also starts bringing in cash at a mind-blowing rate. At the point when the recreation area's limo driver brings her back home, Ki-young passes on her clothing in the vehicle to get him terminated. She then, at that point, proposes her uncle as the new driver, who is truly Ki-taek. The last position is that of the maid, Moon Kwang. She has worked for the home since before the recreation area family resided there. She worked for the past proprietor, an offbeat planner. To get her terminated, the Kims exploit her sensitivity to peaches, making her have unfavorably susceptible responses. They then persuade Mrs. Park that she is truly infectiously sick and can't be around their child. She leaves, crushed, and Mrs. Kim is given the work, tricking the recreation area family into employing the whole Kim family. The Kim family partakes in their gigantic increment of pay, and when the recreation area family chooses to pass on to go setting up camp for Da-melody's birthday end of the week, they make a move to remain in the immense Park house for the end of the week. They go through the night drinking and eating and ruining the spot when the doorbell rings. It's Moon Kwang. She asserts she was terminated so rapidly she left without having the option to get something and simply needs it back. Mrs. Kim hesitantly gives her access, and Moon Kwang runs into the storm cellar and starts shouting, opening a mysterious section behind some racks. She goes to her significant other, Jun-se, who has covertly been living in the fortifications since the past proprietor moved out to stow away from predatory lenders. She gives him food while Mrs. Kim on searches with dismay. She tells Moon Kwang she really wants to leave, and as Moon Kwang implores her to allow them to remain, the remainder of the Kim family who had been listening in tumbles off the steps and into view, and they call one another father, and so on, which Moon Kwang films on her telephone, understanding the con the family has pulled. She takes steps to send it to the recreation area family and utilizations that so she and her better half can compel the Kim family to do their offering.
The Kim family figures out how to get the advantage on them, getting them into the mystery shelter, yet the recreation area family calls. They've dropped their setting up camp excursion because of downpour and will be home in a short time. The Kims scramble, attempting to tidy up as much wreck as possible, keeping the other two in the cellar. They figure out how to do a sufficient work that the remainder of the family can stow away while Mrs. Kim gives the Parks their supper. When Moon Kwang breaks out and runs higher up, Mrs. Kim pushes her back down the steps, where she hits her head and is seriously injured. Moon Kwang and Jun-se are secured in the shelter. Mr. and Mrs. Park wind up resting in the family room to watch out for Da Melody, who is exploring nature out in the patio, constraining the Kims to remain under the table, frozen the entire evening, even as the Parks whine about Mr. Kim's smell, and afterward, have intercourse. At last, ridiculously late, they can escape. They get back to find their condo totally overflowed with downpour and sewage. Ki Charm takes the stone, and the family rests in a haven for the evening. The following day, Mrs. Park chooses to set up an extemporaneous party for Da Toon. The Kim family, in their jobs as help, are welcomed and need to imagine that they don't realize that there are two individuals secured in a shelter under the house. Ki Charm brings the stone down into the dugout, where Moon Kwang has passed on and is trapped by Jun Se, who clubs him in the head with the stone. He then enters the party, where he wounds Ki Young in the chest. The party detonates into frightfulness, and Da Toon has a seizure. Jun Se was the phantom he had found in the house earlier. Mr. Park shouts at his driver, Mr. Kim, who is attempting to stop Ki Young's dying, for the vehicle keys to take his child to the medical clinic, and he tosses them to him. They land under Jun Se, who is battling with Mrs. Kim. She figures out how to kill him by cutting him with a meat stick. Mr. Park gets the keys yet nauseates at Jun Se's smell. This triggers Mr. Kim, who snaps and wounds Mr. Park, killing him. Mrs. Park swoons as Mr. Kim escapes. Ki Charm awakens in the clinic, where he had been in a state of extreme lethargy for a really long time. He figures out that Ki Young has passed on, and he and Mrs. Kim are condemned to probation. There has been no indication of Mr. Kim, despite the fact that the police have been looking for him for Mr. Park's homicide all over. Ki Charm leaves the stone in a stream and notices the previous Park house where he sees the lights gleaming. Ki Charm deciphers the flashing from Morse code, and learns Mr. Kim is controlling them from inside the dugout, where he is presently residing, sneaking higher up for food from the new proprietors. Ki Charm composes his dad a letter back, settling that sometime he will become well off sufficient that he can purchase the house and their family can be brought together. Back to reality, Ki Woo is just reading the message. Nothing more, nothing less. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to Confidential Naga.